our weekend with NRI program at 8 p.m. on Sunday, wherein different NRIs from all over the world, they come together to discuss on making education relevant and different aspects of it. And during the week, we conduct total 28 programs on different aspects of making education relevant. So after this program, I would like to tell you, we will go at 6:30 on Ayurveda for global wellness. And today we are covering lack of sleep, that is insomnia. So all those who are suffering from that or want to know more about it, do watch this program at 6:30. I know you know that where you have to come. You just have to come on GS Motivator YouTube channel to watch it live. And after that, at 8 p.m., we will bring to you Lala Lajpat Rai lecture series that we have started, and today is the 6th part of that. So with this, I want to tell every one of you that whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe can achieve. And as we always tells you that we are very much hungry, we are very much eager to get your ideas, your views, your suggestions, and your inputs to make this series more empowered and to make this series more innovative. So please do write to us or WhatsApp us on the given number here, and also write to us at gsmotivator@icsi.asia. All your suggestions are very much valuable to us, and you all will be more than welcome for that. Now I bring to you Dr. M.L. Rajaji. Let me just introduce this distinguished personality that we are proud that he has come on our platform today. Dr. M.L. Rajaji has wrote articles in reputed scientific magazines, and he has presented research papers in international and national conferences on Vedic sciences, medicines, and discrete mathematics, history, etc. And he has spoken on scientific achievements on our nation and the great achievements of our defense forces in schools, colleges, and universities. He has also written the book on Swami Vivekananda and modern science, from which he is going to present few views of him. And also he has written books on astronomy, Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose, Rajesh Chola, historicity and date of Vikramaditya of Ujjain, Vande Matram, Bharat, a superpower, Aryabhatta's date and analytical study, astronomical evidences of date of Mahabharata war, and Kali Yuga inscriptional evidences. Doing research in the historical chronology of Bharat from the date of Mahabharata war to modern period. With this, I would like to stop my slide here, and I would like to bring in front of all of you Dr. M.L. Rajaji to share his valuable views with us. Good evening, sir, and we welcome you.
Namaskar to all. Good evening. Shall I start now?
Sure, sir.
Sir, I will share my slide first.
Sure, sir. Sure.
It's not sharing.
It is sharing.
No, before that it is. It's not. No.
So now we cannot see your presentation. Earlier we can see. You can once again share it, sir.
No, that Zoom is not working properly.
Haji, now we can see, sir.
You are able to see slide, huh?
No, not now. It has come for a minute and then again disappeared.
Now?
No, sir.
Okay, I will stop sharing and then again I go.
Haji, sir. And please.
Okay, now I can share. Now I can share.
Haji, from the first slide, sir.
Yes. Now, is it visible? The first slide?
Yes, sir. It is very much visible.
Okay, shall I go for slideshow?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sure.
Now, is it moving? Is
Yes,
it
sir. It
moving?
is moving. It is moving,
Okay.
sir. It is moving.
Namaskar to all. I express my humble pranams and respects to Director General ICSI Guldeep Sharma, and also uh, Chitra, who has introduced me, and all the office bearers and who are supporting this ICSI, and for giving me a great opportunity to present a lecture on Swami Vivekananda and his role in developing modern science both in Bharat and abroad. Indeed, it is a great bhagya for me to talk on Swami Vivekananda, a great rishi, jnani, patriot, guru, what we can say anything, such a high personality. And I am very ordinary person to talk about such a high personality. In spite of that, since I was requested, I am presenting. Namaskar to all. Once again, I say namaskar to all. In this lecture, I am going to narrate the role of Swami Vivekananda in the development of modern science, both in Bharat and abroad in Western world. This is Vivekananda Rock Memorial in Kanyakumari. Many of you have visited. This is our Bhagavati Mata, the temple at Kanyakumari. It is one of the Sakti Pida in Bharat. This is the Vivekananda Rock Memorial. I will start with the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru. It is a research institute started in the year 1909 in Bengaluru. Who are the great personalities who made this dream into a reality was first Swami Vivekananda, and second is Jamsetji Nusarwatji Tata, and Maharaja of Mysore Sri Krishna Raja Vodayar and his mother. And who worked on this plan is Purjorji Patsaga, is an aide and secretary to Jayan Tata, and also the disciple of Swami Vivekananda's sister Nivedita. In the year 1893, in this ship, RMS Empress of India, it started from Yokohama from here, Japan, and it went to Vancouver of Northern America. From there, we can reach California and other places. Swami Vivekananda went to participate in the Parliament of World Religions. But on the board of SIP, there is another important personality from our nation. He is Jamsetji Nusarwatji Tata, Jayan Tata. So it took much time to travel from Yokohama to Vancouver, so many days. So on board of ship, used Swamiji and Jayan Tata used to meet and talk freely. When during the talk, Jayan Tata understood the sanctity, clarity of thoughts, the jnana, wisdom, knowledge, and long vision, and the patriotic mission that was aimed by Swami Vivekananda. All these things he came to understand during the talk. So at the time, Jayan Tata requested Swami Vivekananda and expressed his desire of establishing a steel industry in Bharat. At the time, Swami Vivekananda told there are two parts. One is we can import the science and technology of steel from abroad, but the research, the scientific research on steel should be done in Bharat. So this sees the idea of starting a research institute in Bharat in the mind of Jayan Tata. So that is the basics of this IIC, Indian Institute of Science, that came into reality. So that idea was given by Swami Vivekananda to Jayan Tata. So this is clearly expressed in the book The Rise of India, its a transformation, from poverty to prosperity. I thank the author and publisher. He is Niranjan Rajyatyaksa and publisher is Singapore Wiley and Sons. In this book, this whole incident is narrated and how Swamiji guided Jayan Tata to start a research institute, scientific research institute in Bharat. With that motivation, Tata, after returning from USA, he started working on it. And in the year 1898, he wrote a letter to Swami Vivekananda on 23/11/1898. This is the letter, actual piecemeal copy of the Jayan Tata, which was written to Swami Vivekananda. In that, Jayan Tata requested Swami Vivekananda to be the director and to guide the establishment and scientific research of that institute. Because he told that no other person except Swami Vivekananda can lead that institute which is for science and also sanctity. But what was the written reply of Swami Vivekananda, we don't know. But instead that Swami Vivekananda sent Sister Nivedita to assist that project. Meantime, Burjorji Patsaga worked on that with Sister Nivedita. But in the year 1900s, Swami Vivekananda attained Mukti, and also Jayan Tata also passed away in 1904. But the Tata group didn't give up the idea. They worked on continuously for that idea. At that time, the Karsan, Lord Karsan is the Viceroy of India, but he don't want any development project in India. So he refused the project. So Tata group waited for till he was transferred. So after the transfer of Karsan, of the Viceroy of India, they submitted the project to Mysore Kingdom. This is Maharaja Samraja Budaya 10th. This is Maharani Kempanijamani Vani Vilasa Samastana. When Tata submitted the project, Maharaja already, Samrajendra Udaya already passed away. But since Maharaja Nalavadi Krishna Raja Udayar was a small child, actual governance were taken over by Maharani Kempanijamani. And on behalf of his son, Maharani Kempanijamani gave nearly 400 acres of land in the center part of the Bangalore city. Bangalore was under the control of Mysore princely state, and they donated nearly 400 acres for the beginning of this Indian Institute of Science. The worth of that land may be now more than 1,000 crores. Why Maharani Kempanijamani and the Maharaja Nalavadi Krishna Raja donated such a huge valued property to start a research institute in India? Because Swamiji, Swami Vivekananda and his Parivrajaka tour came to Mysore Kingdom in 1892. At that time, Maharaja Samrajendra Udayar was the king. And Maharaja asked, why he is traveling all over our nation? What is his life mission? What is his goal, aim? Like that, he asked many questions to Swamiji. Maharaja asked many questions to Swamiji. On explanation, Swamiji gave a lecture of more than 1 hour. His life mission of uplifting our nation and Dharma, as a reply to Maharaja's question. So it lasted for more than 1 hour, and Maharaja listened the whole 1 hour speech spellbound. And the Maharaja, highly impressed of knowledge, integrity, sanctity, patriotism, jnana of Swami Vivekananda. After that, he became an admirer and worshipper of Swami Vivekananda. He even recorded the voice of Swamiji, and he offered to bear all the expenses of Swamiji's Indian USA visit. This was the Swami Vivekananda's surpassing preeminent influence, not only on Maharaja of Mysore, his whole family. And Maharaja Samrajendra Udayar's wife was Maharani Kempanijamani, and his son was Maharaja Nalavadi Krishna Raja. So, both the Maharani and the Yuvaraja, both are highly influenced by the patriotic and spiritual speech of Swami Vivekananda. So when they came to know this was the dream of Swami Vivekananda to make our nation as a great nation in science and technology, they offered wholeheartedly the nearly 400 acres of land in the heart of the Bangalore city, which is now worth more than 1,000 crores. So in that way also Swamiji helped Tata to get the land. So what Swami Vivekananda explained to J.N. Tata in 1893 came to a reality in 1909, and J.N. Tata, the founder of IIC Bangalore, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. This is J.N. Tata statue. And J.N. Tata actually named it as Indian Institute of Science, but the Bangalore people know it is only a Tata Institute. And many eminent scientists of our nation, including the Nobel laureate Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman, and many scientists worked there in the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So that became the basis of our science and development in the coming days. This is Dr. Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman, who became the director, and Homi Jahangir Bhabha, who is responsible for the nuclear science development of our nation. After independence from 1945 itself, we can say, he came to Bharat in the year 1939, since there was a Second World War has broken out. So he couldn't return to Europe. So he stayed in Bharat, and for him, the only place to do research was Indian Institute of Science. So he joined there, and later on he started Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. That was also funded by Tata Institute. So that Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, we often heard that it is the cradle for all developments, nuclear science and missile technology and space science and many things. So that Tata Institute of Fundamental Research came to the as an idea in the mind of Homi Bhabha when he worked in Indian Institute of Science. It is not only that Vikram Sarabhai and Satish Dhawan, who worked there, later become the stalwarts of ISRO. ISRO is the #1 space organization in the entire world now. They have achieved great Himalayan heights, and this ISRO developed because these two stalwarts, and along with Homi Bhabha, worked in IIC. And J.C. Ghosh, who worked as a director in IIC, he only started the first Indian Institute of Technology at Kharagpur, West Bengal. This became the initial thing, and many IITs came in our nation, and many scientists like G.N. Ramachandran, Hari Chandra, S. Ramaseshan, S.A. Ramachandran, C.N.R. Rao, and Narasimha, many worked there. Even Homi Bhabha made Raja Ramana, who worked in abroad, and many scientists, he requested them to come to Bharat and work for our nation. So all these things are possible because of the Indian Institute of Science. So for highlight the achievements of Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, I can quote one example. Sudeep Bhattacharya is working as a scientific research scholar in the Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics in Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. He only developed a formula to calculate the radius, mass, and age of neutron stars, which are there in our universe, thousands and thousands of light years away from Earth. It is a whole thing is explained in Current Science in 25th September 2009. So that was the great achievement of Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. It is only an example, and many achievements are Himalayan achievements are there. And this Department of Atomic Energy was started by Homi Bhabha, and Atomic Energy Commission was established. And this Atomic Energy Establishment, Bombay, was later named as BARC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center. Actually, the first nuclear reactor, Apsara, came into reality and in India only, in Bharat. Even at the time, Japan and China have no nuclear reactor. After that, Sirius and Jerlina, many nuclear reactors has come. So if Homi Bhabha was allowed fully, he would have made our nation as a nuclear power in 1966. So we would have avoided many wars. This is Swami Jahangir Baba, a great patriot. He's a close relative of Tata family. This is Baba Atomic Research Center, Trombay, nuclear reactor. This is the Pokhran. You all know Pokhran nuclear tests in 1974 and 1998. These are all possible because of Homi Babas, Raja Ramanna, and many scientists, Sidambaram, Kasturi Rangan, many scientists day and night work hard work and knowledge. Because of that, it is possible. You see this. This is an important PowerPoint presentation image. See, you can see that our nation alone 100% indigenous in developing nuclear reactors. Other nations borrowed technology and shared with other nations. We alone, it is 100% indigenous. And this is thorium nuclear technology, another dream of Jahangir Baba, Homi Jahangir Baba. And it will come into a reality in 2000. It will come in 2030. At that time, we will be the number one in nuclear power in the entire world, thorium nuclear technology. And this is about ISRO. Those who built ISRO into this stage is Dr. Vikram Sarabhai and Dr. Satish Dhawan. And we launched Chandrayaan in the year 22nd October 2008. And it reached moon in November 14. And we are the first nation to find out water in moon. And it is totally not insured. Our scientists are fully confident that it will reach moon only. And even America gave payload to us. England has gave payload to us. We only launched. And through this moon impact probe and chase instrument only, we assessed there is water on the upper surface of the moon. So we only found water in moon first time in the entire world. And this is many radar satellite and other remote sensing satellite. And we are the number one. And Mangalyaan, we launched a satellite to Mars. In the first time itself, we succeeded and with 1/10 cost of USA. That is a great thing for our nation. And we launched 104 satellites and missiles, Agni, and its MIRV technique and composite carbon motor casing, canister technique, mobile launching, and BrahMos, the fastest cruise missile in the entire world, Prithvi, the interceptor missile, Nag, the anti-tank missile, and many missiles, Trishul, Astra, and Akash, and Arihant, the nuclear submarine. And this is the important thing, smart anti-airfield weapon. It is 100% indigenous, and in the entire world, we are the only country having this. It will damage enemies' aerodrome, runway, even if launched 100 kilometers away from that aerodrome. So the enemy cannot attack us. Our pilot and aeroplane will be safe. That is 100% indigenous, and we are the only nation in the entire world having that technology. And this is Jayan Tata's dream of starting a Tata Steel, for which he got the guidance from Swami Vivekananda. It was started in the year 1907 in Jamshedpur, first in Asia. At the time, no other country in the entire Asia have any steel company. And at that time, there was an English officer, Chief Commissioner, Great Indian Peninsular Railway, Sir Frederick Upcott. What his skeptical comment and ridiculous was, he told that every inch of, every pound of steel that was produced by Tata, I will just chew it. That was the worst comment by Sir Frederick Upcott. He told that it will be worthless and we cannot call it as iron or steel. But the first steel was rolled out in the year 1912. And what is the actual reality? In 2007, Tata Steel bought Chorus Steel Company, the English company. It may be a fitting reply to Frederick Upcott for his ridiculous comment. And it has operations in 26 countries and commercial presence in more than 50 countries. The second most geographically diversified steel producer and world's one of the largest steel group. It is all because of the guidance of Swami Vivekananda. And the steel produced from Tata Steel, the first in the Asia, were fully utilized for the construction works, infrastructure developments, and industrial developments of our nation since independence. And so this role in national development is immense and highly appreciable. This is the Tata Steel. And Already I have told that it is often quoted. Tata Institute of Fundamental Research is the cradle for science and technology development in India. But this TIFR indeed, in turn, has its base in IIC, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and from which only developed the TIFR, Department of Atomic Energy Commission, Baba Atomic Research Center, ISRO, and IITs. So these institutes took care of the scientific research, employment, and training program for scientists, and practical application of science and technology. What we have achieved, the entire world is astonishing. Our Department of Atomic Energy and also DRDO and ISRO, it is all because of this Indian Institute of Science. So IITs also started. It is for graduation of engineers and scientists. The high quality and highly qualified engineers and scientists came graduated out of IITs. And Tata Steel, already I told, it is for steel production for infrastructure development. So all this reality, all this development have a base at Indian Institute of Science. And that Indian Institute of Science came into a institute because of the long vision, patriotism of Swami Vivekananda, who correctly guided J.N. Tata to start a research institute in our nation. And Tata Group followed correctly, and also the Mysore Kingdom has helped a lot. So that becomes the dream where it comes to a reality of Swami Vivekananda. If Swami Vivekananda, if he alive, he would be the most satisfied person, because all his thought of making our nation a great nation in science and technology came to a reality and truth now. And the second part of my lecture is, this is an article appeared in Indian Journal of History of Science in September 2002. I thank Probir K. Bondyapadhyaya and also Indian National Science Academy, New Delhi, for reproducing it. This narrated an incident in India and abroad. And this incident has three parts. This is Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose. He is a great scientist in 1900s. We can see even in the entire world. And he is the first person to develop instruments that can generate, transmit, and reabsorb microwaves. 60 gigahertz millimeter microwaves. He is the first person. And those microwaves are only used now in cell phones, and also in cooking micro oven, and also in TV and radio. So he is the first inventor of radio receiver, that is mercury ion mercury receiver, and he demonstrated in the Royal Society on April 27th, 1899, and also 17th March 1901. He developed the whole instruments, whole mechanism to various scientists, but unfortunately, because he showed everything, somebody copied, and Guglielmo Marconi of Italy got Nobel for this radio receiver. But in the year 1998, because of many scholars like Probir K. Bondyapadhyaya and many scientists who worked on finding out the truth, and actually Bondyapadhyaya wrote many articles, Italian Navy, Quaker, and other things. Because of that, in now Indian Institute of, International Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, IEEE, that changed that the actual inventor of radio cochlear is Dr. J.C. Bose. So without J.C. Bose, now there is no mobile phone. And for that, because he also developed the semiconductors, P and N type of semiconductors in 1896 itself, but the whole scientific world came to understand that and develop semiconductors in 1950s only. So he developed many equipments, that is crystallography and also galena crystals, like that. So Neville Francis Moore was a British Nobel laureate who mentioned that Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose lived a gap of 60 years in science. That was the great scientist within Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose. This is first part. So, because of his knowledge, wisdom, and his actually his achievement in science, the scientist in England, Professor Kelvin, was at the time President Royal Society, and many scientists like Professor Clifton, Dr. Gladstone, Professor Poynting, William Ramsay, and many Gabriel Stokes, many wrote to England government that there should be a scientific research institute uh, to be constructed, to be formed, to be created in Bharat, and it should be headed by Dr. Jagdish Chandra. That was the recommendation. This is the recommendation letter, appreciation by Lord Kelvin, and it was submitted to the English government, and the English government at England has also accepted and forwarded to our Viceroy. But what happened after that? Viceroy Elgin also accepted, but a few English officers in India, that is Edward Norman Baker, the Finance Secretary at New Delhi, Alfred Kraft, Director Public Administration at Kolkata, and Charles Artane, Principal, Presidency College of Kolkata, make all obstructions, and so that the project should not become a actuality. So it was totally stopped, and from Royal Institute of Great Britain, actually with a great disappointment, Dr. J.C. Bose wrote a letter to Rabindranath Tagore, and mentioning that he wrote it in Bengali. Actually, English translation was given here. 5 years ago, I made a lot of efforts from here in this country and made somewhat definite arrangements to establish a scientific research laboratory in our country. But at the end, due to the adverse efforts of a few hostile little people, I was defeated. This profound disappointment of mine will never go away, because if I had this research laboratory, that is most important, I could have made India a fertile, vibrant place for scientific research. So Dr. J.C. Bose not tried for himself. He tried for our nation's development in science and technology, but were defeated, but was defeated by few hostile people or English people. So he couldn't establish a scientific research institute in Kolkata. This is the first part. So you keep it in mind. Dr. J.C. Bose tried to establish a scientific research institute in Bharat, but he was prevented and he couldn't achieve it. This is first part. And the second part is, this is Srimati Sarah Chapman Bull, and this is Ole Boleman Bull. Sarah Chapman Thorpe was the daughter of Joseph Gilbert Thorpe. Thorpe is in Wisconsin state of USA. He is a timber merchant and he is very highly rich because he owned many forests. Forest itself owned by his father, by her father. And Sarah Chapman Bull, Thorpe and his family are Norwegian origin. And Ole Boneman Bull was a violinist. He is also from Norway, and he came to conduct violin music thing in USA. At that time, he used to stay in the mansion of Thorpe's mansion in Wisconsin state, because Sarah Chapman Thorpe loved violin music. So she attended this violin concerts many times. So firstly, was very much affectionate to violin music, but slowly become a love on violinist. So even though there is a much age difference, Sarah Chapman Thorpe became Sarah Chapman Bull, and he married Ole Boneman Bull. With the consent of her mother also. So after one day, Ole Boneman Bull asked Sarah Chapman, why, because of much age difference, why you loved me and married me? Like that, the question asked by Ole Boneman Bull, the violinist, to his wife. Sarah Chapman naturally told the truth, but first I loved your violin music, then I started loving you, so I married you. Then Boneman Bull told, then you should know the history of violin. the origin of violin, from which country it originated. For that, he, in the Vole Bull, a memoir, a book written by Sarah Chapman Bull, in the page 348, he give the violin notes written by Vole Boneman Bull. In that, Vole Boneman Bull mentioned about a country where the violin originated. He described that country, the country which offers us the most ancient memorials of a perfect language, of an advanced civilization, of a philosophy in which all phases of human thought found expression, of a poetry rich in every style, and of a musical art corresponding with the lively susceptibilities of the people. He explained perfect language, advanced civilization, high philosophy, poetry rich in every style, and music, excellent music, all this combination. And you should know that country. That is the country where violin is originated. And he named the country as India, our great nation. India appears to have given birth to bow instruments. So these are all the golden words of Ole Boneman Bull to describe our great nation. So after hearing all these words about our nation, the third change in Sarah Chapman Bull's mind came, and she started more admiring and more attached to our nation. And the fourth stage is going to come. Before that, I have to explain Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda came to USA in 1893, and he gave lectures in many places, including Harvard University. Already Sarah Chapman Bull, who loved music and musician and started loving and admiring Bharat. Because Swamiji came from Bharat, she started attending many discourses and lectures of Swamiji. Swamiji explained Bharatian philosophy and thoughts in an elegant and appropriate way. So, Sarah Chapman Bull became a faithful American disciple of Swamiji. This is the fourth change in her mind, in her life. First, she loved music of violin, then married violinist Vole Boneman Bull, and become affectionate and much attached to our nation after the introductory golden words of her husband on Bharat, and become an American disciple of Swami Vivekananda, a great rishi from Bharat. So Sarah Chapman Bull slowly became a saint, and she often referred as Saint Sarah. These are the four stages of changes in the life of Sarah Chapman Bull. This is the holy trio, Swami Vivekananda, Sister Nivedita, and Sarah Chapman Bull. In 1895, Swami Vivekananda went to England, and at Wimbledon, he met the young school teacher Margaret Elizabeth Noble, who became our Sister Nivedita. And Sister Nivedita and Sarah Chapman Bull become both disciples of Swami Vivekananda. So they become friends, and Nivedita and Sarah Chapman Bull came to our nation in the year 1898. And on 30th March 1898, they both visited Presidency College of Kolkata, where Dr. J.C. Bose is doing his research, and as a professor is employed there. But they found with a lot of distress that J.C. Bose was given only a small room of 6 into 6 feet, the two adjacent to toilet, and he was not helped in any way, both not only financial, in any other way. There is no help from the government or the college, and instead that he has to meet a lot of hurdles and hindrance from the English officers. So Nivedita and Sarah Chapman Bull felt very bad of how Dr. J.C. Bose was, a great scientist of the world, was treated. And in the year 1900, there was Exposition Universelle, that is a world fair on science and technology and arts, conducted at Paris, the capital of France. Swamiji, Sister Nivedita, and Sarah Chapman Bull went Paris to attend that. But to utter satisfaction, Swamiji found no Bharatian scientists were there in the World Fair of Science. So he got much disappointment and unhappy. So the two disciples of Swami Vivekananda, they also felt very sad because of the disappointment of their guru. But after some time, there came an announcement that Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose of Bharat, India, is going to present his research thesis on the similarity of responses in inorganic and living matter. Till date, even now, the modern science didn't thought of this concept, this theory. But Dr. J.C. Bose in 1900 itself thought of this. Even he mentioned that even the inorganic, lifeless objects also can have fatigue like human beings. So he explained all these things in his lecture, and because the scientists didn't expect that a great wisdom and knowledge and scientific thought of J.C. Bose, they got very much surprised and they got inexplicable feeling. So the clap of the scientists reached the sky. On seeing this, Swami Vivekananda felt much happiness and joy and emotionally uttered the following golden words, addressing our motherland, Bharat, as Devi Mata. It is the exact words of Swami Vivekananda. Out of this vast assembly, a young man stood for thee, one of the heroic sons, whose words electrified the audience and will thrill his countrymen. So, a young man, Dr. J.C. Bose, stood for motherland Devi Mata. And he is the heroic son of this Devi Mata. And his words electrified the scientists and will thrill his countrymen. So both the disciples naturally felt relieved and were very happy. So at that time, Sarah Chapman Bull came to understand the feeling and dream and desire of Swami Vivekananda that there should be a scientific research institute in Bharat, and how J.C. Bose is highly knowledgeable and expert scientist in the entire world. So that also she understood. And what is the affection of Swami Vivekananda to J.C. Bose, that also she understood. So she decided to help Dr. J.C. Bose to establish a scientific research institute in Bharat. So in the year 1902, already I have told her father, Joseph Gilbert Tarpe, is a very rich man. He owned many forests. So Sarah Chapman Bull donated $20,000 on 2nd January 1902 to Dr. J.C. Bose to establish a scientific research institute in Kolkata. At the time, Nobel Prize was announced, and the amount is $20,000. So it is equal to a Nobel prize to Dr. J.C. Bose. And when J.C. Bose told that it is not sufficient, so second time, Sarah Chapman Bull donated $20,000 on 14th July 1910 to Dr. J.C. Bose. It was transferred to Grandlay Bank in Kolkata, and because of that $40,000, actually it is two Nobel Prize. Actually, due to racial thing, they are not awarded Dr. J.C. Bose Nobel, but instead they awarded the Guglielmo Marconi of Italy, who got the instrument from Dr. J.C. Bose. So instead that, Sarah Chapman Bull, the disciple, American disciple of Swami Vivekananda, because of the influence of Swami Vivekananda, donated $40,000 to Dr. J.C. Bose, and this second institute of modern scientific research in India came into reality because of this violin. So this violin donated this building because Sarah Chapman Bull first loved the violin music and the violinist, and then loved Bharat and became a disciple of Swami Vivekananda. That made to donate $40,000 in the year 1910 itself, and Dr. J.C. Bose Institute in Calcutta is constructed, and it is doing a lot of research even now. So this second institute also came into a reality because of Swami Vivekananda. So Swami Vivekananda is the person who is behind of all this beginning of Indian Institute of Science and Bose Institute. All these are referred in already. I have told that Indian Journal of History of Science, the violin and the genesis of Bose Institute, Calcutta. I wholeheartedly thank Probir Bondya Badhyaya and Lily Banerjee and Indian National Science Academy for this article. And what is the role of Bose Institute in developing science and technology, not only in Bharat and in the entire world? This is Satyendranath Bose, the great scientist of our nation. This is, Albert Einstein. Actually, when the quantum physics was, the scientists came to understand what is quantum physics. But when they split the atom and also they want to understand quantum physics, they couldn't understand, because science should be tell everything with certainty. But in quantum physics and also atomic science, nuclear science, subatomic particles, there is no certainty. Everything is uncertain. So they couldn't understand what is what in quantum world. At that time, Dr. Satyendranath Bose wrote a 4-page article in English to Albert Einstein to translate into German, because in 1924, all scientific articles will appear only in German or in France, not in English. So he requested Albert Einstein to translate it into German and to publish in any one of the leading German scientific magazines. But on reading that article, Albert Einstein came to understand that it cleared all the uncertainties of quantum physics, quantum field, and subatomic particle, and how Satyendranath Bose explained about the behavior of light quantum particles, and based on that, the subatomic particles that are behaving, that are having the statistics as that of light quantum particle, are named as boson particle after Satyendranath Bose, and that statistics is named as Bose-Einstein statistics. Now, no person in the entire world can become a particle physicist or nuclear scientist without reading Satyendranath Bose. But unfortunately, in our nation, in our textbooks, we are not mentioning this. So Satyendranath Bose is the person who made the quantum physics to be easily understood by the Western scientists and modern scientists. This is the 4-page article we didn't read, and this is one contribution of Bose Institute, because Satyendranath Bose was a disciple of Jagdish Chandra Bose, and another disciple is Dr. Meghanath Saga. He is another student. He only started this Saga Institute of Nuclear Physics in Kolkata. It was started in the year 1949. And the entire European nations are conducting an experiment, the CERN experiment at Geneva, Switzerland. And this is to find out the formation of God particle. That is also based on Satyendranath Bose. It is named as Higgs boson particle. And because why it is named as God particle? Because it gives masses to all subatomic particles. So to find out the formation of that Higgs boson particle or God particle, thereby we can assess how this universe is created. They want a chip, computer chip, and with high quality. It should tolerate radiation, temperature, and it should store all signals in an astronomical scale, and it can store any number of data in that. So, but it should be small. Many conditions they have put, and it is all satisfied by only one chip in the entire world. That is Manas chip, multiplex analog signal processor. And it was produced by Saga Institute of Nuclear Physics, which is started by Meghanath Saga, another student of Jagdish Chandra Bose. So this is the Manas chip. We gave 1,10,000 Manas chip to there. You can see Manas, India, SINP, Saga Institute of Nuclear Physics. And this is the scientist from Saga Institute of Nuclear Physics. And this is the place this Manas chip are placed. In that, he pasted our national flag in that. It's a great moment for us. So this and all possible because of Meghnad Saka and Satyendra Nath Bose, and though both are students of Bose Institute, and Bose Institute became a research institute that was established because of the help and guidance of Swami Vivekananda to his disciples Sarah Chapman Bowles. So the second institute at Kolkata also came because of the wholehearted support of Swami Vivekananda, because Swami Vivekananda want that our nation should be in top in science and technology. That was totally both institute achieved the goal of aim of Swami Vivekananda. And this is Swami Vivekananda's role of developing modern science and technology in our nation, within our nation. What is his role in correcting and guiding the modern scientists in the right pathway abroad in the entire world? That we are going to see now. Swami Vivekananda went to USA, and you all know the famous speech at Chicago at 11th September 1893. And after that, Swami Vivekananda wrote a letter to his European disciple E.T. Study on 13th February 1896. And it was published in Complete Works of Swami Vivekananda, 5th volume, pages 100 to 104. Anybody can go and read. In that letter, Swami Vivekananda narrated an incident that took place in America. This is the letter. What that incident? There are two incidents. First one is this is Sarah Bernhardt, a famous French actress. He used to enact many plays, dramas, and mostly in Europe. And in the year 1896 January, she went to USA and started enacting drama there also. In the January, he in the Abbey Theatre, he enacted the drama on Buddha. Since it is a drama on Buddha, Swami Vivekananda was also there in USA, New York, Abbey Theatre, New York. So he went to see that drama. And then when Swami Vivekananda entered into the audience, Sarah Bennett noted it because she had a doubt. In the drama ICL, Sarah Bennett acted as a beautiful lady who requested Buddha to marry her. But this person who is acting as Buddha used to tell, so this beauty, this wealth, everything is not permanent. It looks as permanent because of Maya. Every time Buddha acted, used to tell Maya, Maya, Maya. But Sarah Bernhardt couldn't understand the word Maya. So this is a terminology from Hinduism. So she wanted to clarify that Maya with the Hindu sannyasi. So when Swami Vivekananda entered into the audience, she noted, and after the drama was over, she requested Swami Vivekananda for an interview to explain her about Maya. Thus, the interview was happened in Manhattan, New York, on 425 Fifth Avenue. And it was published in New York Herald Society, on New York World, and Detroit Free Press. In that interview, Sarah Bennett requested Swami Vivekananda to explain Maya. The other important person who attended that interview was this great scientist of Europe, America, that is Nikola Tesla, the scientist of USA. He is the great scientist of USA at the time. He only invented the motor that can generate alternate current, and also using his technology only, the America generated electric current from Niagara Falls, and also he did much research in lighting and other things. He was a great scientist and highly knowledgeable person, and he also attended that interview. This is Nikola Tesla, the great scientist of USA. Swami Vivekananda, in explaining Maya, he compared wave of a ocean. That for that part we don't go in deep, but he tells that the name and form of a wave is Maya, and the water in that wave is Brahman, and water is permanent, and the name and form, which is Maya, will be there. Still, the wave is as wave. Once it submerged into the water, the name and form will go. So Maya will also go. But we cannot say Maya because it is not exist permanently. We cannot call it as zero because in other waves it exists. So different waves are seen as different due to the different names and forms, and it is due to the effect of Maya. So Swami Vivekananda explained in the same way, different things in the universe are appears as different due to the effect of Maya. This Swami Vivekananda told to Sarah Bennett. After that, on turning to Nikola Tesla, the great scientist, he told, Swami Vivekananda told, however, at the basic level, they are one and same. Thus, there is a basic unity and oneness among all things in the universe. He told Nikola Tesla, for example, scientists in 1900s think that force, that is energy and matter, are different. E and M are different, but it is not true. Swami Vivekananda told, both are one and the same. E is equal to M. That is the thing Swami Vivekananda explained to Nikola Tesla. Why he started explaining this? Because on those days, scientists believe that energy and matter are two different poles, opposite poles. Why they think different? Because it is due to the theories of René Descartes, the French mathematician who has coined the reductionist approach, because everything, he told that everything in this universe is separate, nothing is interconnected. So if you make small parts and study them and combine them, we can understand anything in the universe. Sir Isaac Newton went further a step that this universe is a great machine and each part is obeying its rule. So if you know the rules of each part and each part separately, we can rule this universe. This is the explanation given by Sir Isaac Newton of England. And both these are combined as Cartesian Newtonian paradigm. Because of that, what the Westerners thought, everything in the universe is separate, nothing is interconnected. So thus the sufferings and hardships of other people will not affect me. So if I see my welfare, it is sufficient. We need not bother about others. So they become slightly selfish. Second stage where if I look for my welfare, if it affects other persons, I cannot help it. So they become more selfish. And third thing, they become more greedy. If I take away the properties and other things of our other persons, I cannot help them. They have to fight and keep them. What can I do for that? So after all, survival is the fittest is the rule of this universe. Who is able person, they can survive. The unable person has to vanish. So they become more greedy. So this, because of this nature, the entire human race was on the annihilation stage. So Swamiji thought at this stage, we have to guide the entire world in the proper way. That is, everything in this universe is interconnected. So if we affect us another person, you will also get sorrow because of that. So he want to explain the scientist first, that everything in this universe is at the basic level as one and the same. So he explained Nikola Tesla using many methods that we, in that letter he explained. This is the thing he explained, that the Brahman in Hindu Bharatian philosophy is the absolute of the universe, of the scientist, and Mahat or Ishvara, the prime creative energy of the scientist. And this Mahat and Ishvara become Prana and Akasa, and the Prana is the energy, and Akasa is the matter. And at the stula level, that is at the universe level, they appear as separate. But at the electric level, Prana and Akasa are almost one and the same. He used the word electrical sphere because we know that electricity is the flow of electrons, and electrons can behave as both particles as well as energy. In the way light also travel as waves and energy, dual nature. So he used that electrical sphere. Prana and Akasa are almost on that shape. And then the final supreme is the Brahma Loka, where this energy and matter become one and the same. So he explained this along with the Rishi Kapila's Sankhya philosophy to Nikola Tesla, Sattva, Rajas, Tamasam, like that. He explained that the static energy, kinetic energy, the potential energy. Potential energy is nothing but the matter. So this energy and matter are one and the same. That is, he explained to Nikola Tesla. And after that, Nikola Tesla used the term prana and akasa only, not as energy and matter. And Nikola Tesla promised Swami Vivekananda that he will develop a mathematical problem, a formula to show that energy is equal to matter. That was the influence of Swami Vivekananda and Nikola Tesla. And from this article, you can see that an article by Toby Grott's web publication. In that, he explained the influence of Swami Vivekananda and Nikola Tesla's understanding of free energy. But unfortunately, Nikola Tesla couldn't develop an equation between E is equal to M, but it was Albert Einstein who only developed that in the year 1905. And in this article, A.W. Hill, an American journalist, mentioned in the article Swami and the Seventh, he mentioned an interesting thing in that article. He mentioned that this E is equal to M formula from Swami Vivekananda went to Nikola Tesla, from Nikola Tesla to Miller Americ, from there it went to Albert Einstein. He mentioned that it has a ring of truth because Nikola Tesla and Miller Americ are college days friends, and Nikola Tesla belonged to Hungary only, Budapest, and Miller Americ also belonged to that country, and they are college mates, both are worked as a scientist there. So they have a frequent correspondence. And this Miller Americ was the wife of Albert Einstein. And in the initial paper of special theory of relativity, actually this formula E is equal to M is written by Miller Americ only on her handwriting at the margin. Only Albert Einstein later developed this E is equal to MC square. This is the thing written by A.W. Hill, the American journalist. So finally, what our nation, Bharat, has known since remotest antiquity, came to understand by the West because of Swami Vivekananda. This, all these things are explained by Dr. T.J.K. Murthy. He was an ex-ISRO scientist. In his book, Swami Vivekananda, an Intuitive Scientist, in that book at the page 40 and 41, he mentioned that Einstein has himself acknowledged the contribution of Swami Vivekananda by stating that there is one Kananda. Usually, Swami Vivekananda often referred by Western magazines as Kananda. And there is one Kananda who predicted that energy and matter are interchangeable. That is, E is equal to M. This book was published by Ramakrishna Math. At the 40 and 41 page, he has written like this. So I thank the author and publisher. And it was also mentioned by Dr. Swami, another ISRO scientist. It was published in Deccan Chronicle on 11th February 2013, Chennai edition. Dr. Swami, another on inaugurating a scientific exhibition at Ramakrishna Mission School, T Nagar in Chennai, on 9th February 2013, he mentioned it was Swami Vivekananda who first came up with the theory E is equal to MC squared and not Einstein. In fact, Albert Einstein himself has acknowledged this, that a Swamiji had found something about quantum energy. So these are all the proofs that Swamiji, based on Sankhya philosophy and also Bharatian philosophy, he only guided the Western scientists that energy and matter are one and the same, and everything in this universe is interconnected, interwoven, interrelated, and nothing separate. So you should act accordingly with humanitarian grounds. You should not be selfish and greedy. That was the message given by Swami Vivekananda, not only to the modern scientists in Europe and America, but entire Western world, he gave that message to them. That's why they now realized and they're changing slowly. And another scientific contribution of Swami Vivekananda is he wrote an article on ether. Because in 1900s, what the Western scientists, how they thought that energy and matter are separate. And that way they also wrongly thought that there was ether electric particles are there in the universe, in the atmosphere, so that everything, the sound waves, light waves can travel. So they mentioned that because of the ether particle or only this light is traveling. Light is traveling at 3 lakhs kilometers per second because ether particles are such qualified and minute. So it allows the light to travel at a tremendous speed. That was the concept and theory what the Western scientists strongly believed in 1900s. But in an article in New York Medical Times, so it is a medical magazine. In that, Swami Vivekananda, a Rishi scientist of Rishi Jnani of Bharat, written an article. It was published in February 1895. It was a reputed medical magazine in USA at the time. And in that, he questioned this ether theory, like mentioning, suppose if there are ether particles and light are traveling through that, what is the space occupied? Which one is occupying the space between the ether particles?
Yeah,
If the
Dr.
ether
Saab,
particles are minute,
Dr. Saab, sorry bothering you. My humble request, Dr. M.L. Rajaji, that we have to wind up in next 5 minutes
yes, okay,
because we
I
have
will
to change the
answer.
location. We have to change
Okay,
the
okay, okay,
location, sir. Thank
okay,
you.
okay, okay. So he asked the question and he deliberately told that ether theory is wrong. Only now Western scientists understood that ether theory is entirely wrong. So he guided in that way also uh, the Western scientists. So you can see all these references. And the Swami Vivekananda's influence on Western scientists is excellent. He not only influenced Nikola Tesla, Lord Kelvin, Professor Kelmgorts, and many scientists of the Western world. That was the influence of Swami Vivekananda on the Western world. And even we can see already, we have seen this letter, Professor Kelvin, who recommended a scientific research institute for Dr. J.C. Bose. And Professor Kelvin was much influenced by Swami Vivekananda. And so thus, in these three parts, we can say that Swami Vivekananda not only formed a strong base for the development of science and technology in Bharat by formation of two institutes, by that is Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and also this Bose Institute, Calcutta. Because of that, we have seen a lot of developments in science and technology, both in Bharat and abroad. And also, he guided properly the eliminating the wrongness of ether theory and also Cartesian Newtonian paradigm, and requested the Western scientists to think in humanitarian grounds, and also he explained the fact that everything in this universe is interlinked and one and the same. And he only gave the formula E is equal to M. That is the great contribution of Swami Vivekananda to the modern science and its development. With these words, I conclude my lecture. Thank you for the patient listening. And I once again thank you for all those who listen, and also ICSI and its Director General. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. M.L. Rajaji. It was a wonderful, wonderful inputs which you have given this evening, and so much you have added to Swami Vivekananda's series. We can feel the research, the creativity, the content, the emotional bond, and all the thorough work which has been done. We are so moved because you are a medical doctor. You're from the Avinash Sri Krishna Hospital, Tamil Nadu. But the work which you have done on Swami Vivekananda and the entire content, compilation, and details, they are commendable. Although doctor told me not to speak, but having seen your work and having seen your this presentation, I was almost compelled to convey our deep gratitudes and thank personally to you. And we are proud that you have come this evening and we are proud for all the participants, those who have joined this evening. And we continue with this series every Saturday at 5 p.m. With these words, our deepest regards and gratitudes and thanks to Dr. M.L. Rajaji,
Thank you, sir.
Director,
Thank you. Thank
Avinash,
you.
Sri Krishna Hospital, Tamil Nadu. And only I can say in love and affection, Vanakkam, 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 and Vanakkam. Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Dhanyawad, sir.
Thank you,
Dhanyawad.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you.
We can close the presentation, sir.